past, we have seen a lot of DDoS attacks UAE and the customers are experiencing, and there are multiple customers who got affected with such attacks. We'll discuss with Gaurav. Gaurav, what kind of attacks you have seen in recent past?
Indeed, it's a good question, because UAE is having a robust economy, so it is an apple of the attacker's eyes. We have seen in last 2 months several targeted DDoS attacks. They are volumetric in nature. They are causing lots of session exhaustion. They are targeting the specific applications, and their main aim is to bring down the availability of your applications, your infrastructure, and your reputation.
So when you talk about the attacks, can you briefly explain me what are the different types of attacks and what protections are possible for such volumetric attacks and application layer attacks?
The most well-known DDoS attacks that are volumetric in nature. So their main intention is to exhaust the internet bandwidth that you have. For them, like if you are hosting some application and if it is not available to the intended user, it means it's out of business. So the volumetric nature generally are the old school type of attacks where they launch several floods. Could be UDP based, TCP based, ICMP. And that's very easy to target. Like a guy who is probably not happy with you, or any competitor, any company who wants to bring down your infrastructure, they just need to pay $50, $60 maybe for launching a 24 hours DDoS attacks to ensure that your applications and infrastructure is down. So the other kind of DDoS attacks, which are more sophisticated and they need a better protection, are the session exhaustion attacks and the application layer DDoS attacks. Session exhaustion, which are targeting your perimeter devices like firewall, your F5 devices, your IPS, IDS, your application server, where they have a certain limitation to cater a number of new connections per second. The last and the major type of DDoS attacks is the application layer DDoS attacks, which is a full-fledged attack. It passes through most of the DDoS protection that you have for volumetric and session exhaustion, and their main target is to bring down your application. And until you have a good protection to probably seeing what's happening at the application layer, you cannot mitigate them.
When you see this much of attacks and all, right, and if there are customers who do not subscribe to the DDoS service, then what kind of protection they need to subscribe in order to mitigate to such attacks?
Yeah, it's completely based on their ROI. It's their business need. But if you ask, if one door is open in the house, it means no matter how many locks you have put in other door. So if someone is subscribing for DDoS services, they have to ensure that they have secured all the attack surface, like the volumetric attack, their session exhaustion, as well as application layer protection. So all different layer of protections are the must to have a fully secured DDoS protection.
What kind of infrastructure does HelpAG have in order to protect such volume of DDoS attacks?
So HelpAG is leveraged with Etisalat infrastructure for providing the DDoS protection. We are having in-country very huge mitigation capacity, but we are simply able to cater any volumetric DDoS attacks. We are also having a full-fledged solution for protecting customers against any application layer DDoS attack or the session exhaustion DDoS attack.
So what are the different types of customers that experience such attacks, and can you give me some more details? Who are the primary target of such attackers?
Yeah. So if you are having hosting services, you are the target of DDoS, irrespective of you are from banking sector or finance sector, IT sector, irrespective of your sector. If you are having hosting services, you are delivering services through or over internet, you are target. And if I talk about last 2 to 3 years, almost all the sectors have been targeted at different times.
You have seen that such attacks are being mitigated by HelpAG. There's no customer who is immune, and we have different layers of protection based on the nature of attack. But please do consult with HelpAG to get to know more about attacks and prevention.